All right. Welcome, everybody, to the 2021 PGA Championship here at the Ocean Course on Key Island, South Carolina. We're pleased to be joined by world number 3, Jon Rahm. Jon, really quickly, before we get started, I want to let those of you know who are interested in asking questions from afar via our PGA Championship Media Hub. Please raise your virtual hand, and we will do our best to balance those questions with those that we have here on site. Jon, welcome to your 5th career PGA Championship. You were not here in 2012 when we last played here, but what have you come to know and learn about the Ocean Course, and compare and contrast that with what you've experienced here a few days in to our championship week?
I would say it's even for the people that were here in 2012, it's hard to know what to expect. First of all, you're in a different time of year. I believe when they played back then, it was all Bermuda. Now it's overseas for the most part. So it's obviously going to play a little different, right? I think a player told me they had some rain that week and it was rather soft. It's incredibly firm out there right now, so the downwind holes, ball rolls, and bounces on the greens. So I think it's playing different. Now, when it comes to the golf course itself, it is nice to be familiar with the layout. It is really nice to be familiar with the wind. So if you've been here in the past and have played both east and west winds, I think you have a certain advantage on strategy on some holes. I do know last time they moved a lot of tees around on some holes, so obviously that helps as well. But as a fan of Pete Dye golf courses, you kind of know what to expect, right? You get to the tee, you expect a fairway that you're not really going to see, deceiving off the tee, very deceiving to the eye in every single shot. Much like TPC Sawgrass, it's like you have a shape off the tee and another shape coming into the green. It's a true ball striker's golf course, and I enjoy the challenge, and I typically really enjoyed Pete Dye golf courses. So I can't wait to play the front nine, which I haven't played yet, and get it going this week.
All right, let's go to microphone number 4, please.
Jon, you've had a baby at home for a little over a month now. I guess you've had a chance to settle in, but how is that affecting your golf, your practice time, and your preparation?
He's here now. He's 6 weeks. It definitely changes. Once he was born, and even before, I could feel priorities, just starting to shift. And this is a shift that happens in you from going from just regular 26-year-old man to now being a father, right? There's a big shift in priorities, and that's what's going on. Obviously, I still got to prioritize my career to provide for my family and do what I do. And I think that's been the hardest part when I'm home, right? Because I wake up early, he's usually waking up, and I hold him on my arms, and the last thing I want to do is leave to go work out or leave to go putt or leave to go practice, especially those early days, right? Going to Augusta was not easy 3 days after he was born. And I guess you can say still the early days. So I think just really, especially in tournaments, I'm glad he came last week to know that, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to practice. I'm here to play. And then once I'm done with my whole day, I get home now. It's that time, which at the same time is wonderful. I get home and I forget about what's going on around me. So I forget that we're at Key Island. I forget that we're at a major, and I forget what the mission is. And it's also really refreshing for the mind. The feeling of presence that I have when I'm with him is unique. So, it can only be a good thing for me as a person, as a career.
Were you a good sleeper before, and has that changed?
Well, I was a good sleeper. I still am, since my wife is breastfeeding, and there's nothing I can do to help with that. So, but we did, I talked to some players and other athletes, and, I need my sleep in tournaments and rest. So we did hire somebody to help us at night. And recently we started including a couple bottles a night so I can sleep through the night, and Kelly can sleep through the night as well. But yeah, the first month she was being woken up. Sometimes I would wake up, sometimes I wouldn't, but it's all right for me so far. But you gain a whole new appreciation for women, for what they go through in labor, for what they go through in the first month, having to be awake every 3 hours and feed and everything. I mean, it's we definitely got the good end of the stick on this one.
All right, we're going to zoom out. Steve D'Amiglio, you are up, sir. Go ahead, Steve.
It's not a great transition, Jon, but could I get your thoughts on the 17th hole?
Oh, here, 17th? Well,
Yes, sir.
I smoked a 2-iron yesterday to just carry it over the middle of the green and over the water. So extremely difficult. That's all I can say. I mean, anytime you have 230 yards into the wind, over water, into a narrow target, I mean, it's just not easy, right? I'm hoping we don't play it back there every day. Otherwise, it's going to be a challenging week. But it's a beautiful hole. It's very challenging. You know, it's a good thing. Like I said, I enjoy Pete Dye golf courses, and the good thing you get with Pete Dye every time is that when you play, you can see your limits for the most part, especially into the green, right? I mean, you see the tiles, you see the wood, I forget how you call it, and you see the line of the edge on the left side and the bunkers. So you have a clear target of where you have to hit it. There's no deceiving areas. I think it's a wonderful hole. I mean, the whole golf course is a wonderful golf course. You know, it's again, it rewards good shots. If you don't hit a good one, you're going to have to struggle for a par. And you know, sometimes a bogey might be the best you can do.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go to microphone number 10. Rex, please.
John, you touched on playing different tees, and I know you guys have been advised to plan on playing some forward tees on certain holes depending on what the wind is doing.
Seriously, I hope so. Because yesterday, from 14 on, I think the shortest iron I hit into a green was a 5-iron. And I'm not usually the shortest hitter. I was playing with Zach Johnson, and I think he pulled a head cover on every single hole except the par 5 16 coming into the green. So for the sake of our sanity, I believe they're going to use a couple forward tees.
How did the forward tees change sight lines maybe on certain holes? Because they're blind tee shots and there's a lot of trust involved.
A little bit. I feel like, you know, we had a pretty strong wind yesterday, so if you're one tee box up, it kind of plays, especially if you get the picture yardage book where it tells you where the limits are, it kind of plays as if you were in the back. So, you know, if we have a 300-yard carry from the back and you're 280 to 70, we'll just still play those lines. It's slightly different, obviously. You can maybe cover some things from the up tees, some bunkers and some dunes that you can from the back, but it doesn't change overall that much. Maybe some of them where it's a little more diagonal, but I've only played the back 9. I'm playing the front 9 right after this, and there wasn't that many holes that made a huge difference. You just need to sometimes shift a little bit where you're aiming, but not too much, just because the winds are so strong.
Okay, let's go to microphone number 12. Marty in the back left.
Hey, John, good morning. You talked about the wind right there. Try to define for us what the challenge is here with the wind.
It's one of the challenges. I mean, one of the things when you're around the ocean and you have a humid place, you have a lot more dense air, right? So what a 10-mile-an-hour wind might be here is definitely going to be stronger than a 10-mile-an-hour wind in some places inland, right? So you got to account for that. You got to club up. You got to, you know, adjust to it. And that's just playing a couple practice rounds, you might be able to get an idea of how much is hurting or helping the ball, because some of the downwind holes, the ball is going a very long way. So I think that's one of the challenges, right? Being able to commit to the club you have, even though you might be hitting way longer clubs than you used to on certain distances into the wind. And again, I think that the biggest challenge when you have a place like this, it's narrow targets and windy, and narrow because it's windy, is just having a clear picture and, you know, full commitment on the shot, right? Is what you got to do. You got to pick a shot and be fully committed to it. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible to get around this golf course. And as a player, I think that's the biggest challenge, right? When you have a lot of ideas in mind and a lot of options, picking one and sticking to it and trying to execute the best possible.
Thank you.
All right, let's zoom out to Lucas. Lucas, unmute yourself, and you're with Jon Rahm.
Good morning, John. Thanks for doing this. You were one of the few golfers who were involved in the collaboration with the LPGA and Michelle Wee in the Hoodie for Golf. I'm just curious how that came to be and how you see how important it is to have those type of cross collaborations between the PGA and LPGA tours.
Well, to be honest, I'm not on social media all that much. I actually don't have it on any of the social media platforms on my phone. So I was told about it right before I made the video, and, you know, seemed like a no-brainer to support the cause. I was also told she pulled some strings, and some of the NBA players were wearing that hoodie as well. And I think, if I believe, it's something going on in many other sports as well, right? You see the male side supporting the females. I've seen a lot of NBA players wearing the jerseys from the female players from that same town. I think I've seen a couple other times where I believe I forgot what it was for, but Real Madrid soccer players supported the Real Madrid female soccer players in some instances. So it's all for the growth of the game, right? And I've said many times, if I can do a little bit of what some players in the past did for the game, outside playing, it would be an accomplished goal. So if you can just grow the game, whether it's for male or females, I think it's a mission accomplished, right? And, that's what we're here for. And we're not only just players, we're ambassadors of the game. And I think Arnold, Jack, Tiger, Phil, Sevi, they all did a great job in that outside the golf course as well. And some of them are still doing it. So it's I take it as a bit of a duty to be able to grow the game, whether it's just for men or women, obviously trying to include as many people as possible.
Thank you, Lucas. We are going to now go to Juan, who's going to ask some questions first in English, and then we're going to segue to some Espanol.
So one in English is, so starting this week here, John, and finishing in September, we have 4 big tournaments with golf courses by the water and with wind, no? I mean, so Kiwa this week, and then it's going to be Whistling Straits for the Ryder Cup, no? So, I mean, do you embrace those conditions, or what do you think? What can you tell us a little bit about Kiwa and then Whistling Straits at the end?
Well, you have Kiwa, we're going to have Torrey Pines,
Yeah.
Royal St. George's, and
Yeah.
Whistling Straits, right? Well, one of them is not ocean water, so it's going to be a little different. But
Yeah.
I mean, you do get a similar idea of how it's going to play. For the most part, they'll probably all play difficult. That's all I can say. Torrey Pines, in a perfect sunny day with no wind, it's a very challenging golf course. So when it's firm and fast and a little wind, it's going to be even harder. So I think it's a good thing if you're one of those players who's known to be a good ball striker and like the challenge, because, I mean, I'm assuming they're all going to play similar. Now, Whistling Straits is match play. That changes things a lot. It's all based on how they want to set it up. And when you don't have to count every single shot, it's a little bit easier to be more aggressive and fire at some pins. But in the other 3 cases, just got to play good golf. You got to strike it well. You got to put the ball in the right position, and really keep in mind what the strategy is and what you want to be doing. That's I think the key part, right? Just learning the golf course early and understanding how to play certain holes is going to be important.
Okay. Español.
Switch over, sir.
Ok, muy bien. Estabas hablando, John, un poco de las distancias aquí y de algunos palos que has pegado, que es difícil llegar al green, incluso
Sí,
en
a
pares
ver.
4, ¿no? O sea que-
Tienes un campo que, bueno, a ver, la estrategia está clara, lo que hicieron, ¿no? Han hecho muchos tees que desde atrás va a ser increíblemente largo, pero no siempre se juega desde atrás, ¿no? Lo hacen más que nada para los diferentes vientos. Está claro, esta semana parece que va a ser todos los días, que del 14 al 18 es viento en contra, y el domingo puede que sea a favor, y para eso están esos tees, ¿no? Para que, bueno, si jugamos de adelante con viento en contra es un hoyo normal, incluso difícil, con viento a favor sería incluso un hoyo fácil, ¿no? O sea, es para mantener la dificultad del campo y tener variedad. Pueden hacer lo que quieran, pueden hacer lo imposible, lo pueden hacer, entre comillas, fácil. O sea que tiene muchas opciones y eso cuando, digamos, juntas ciertos tees y ciertas banderas y ciertos vientos, lo pueden hacer muy divertido.
No. Y, bueno, hablábamos de 4 torneos importantes este año, todos al lado del agua, ¿no? Del mar, y con mucho viento, ¿no? O sea, ¿no? O sea, ¿cómo es algo que te viene bien a ti? ¿Cómo te adaptas a ese juego, no?
A
O sea,
ver, habiendo crecido en Bilbao, sí. Bueno, esos días en Neguri no van a ser muy difíciles, que lo que muy diferentes a lo que vamos a tener
sí.
por aquí, ¿no? Pero este torneo, Torrey Pines, St. George's y Whistling Straits son todos campos difíciles, campos divertidos, que va a haber que jugar muy bien, ¿no? Yo creo que es importante con este viento aprender rápido cómo se está jugando el campo y luego mantenerte muy fiel a cierta estrategia, ¿no? Es lo importante, saber cómo manejar el campo y cómo poder jugarlo lo mejor posible. Pero claro, si eres alguien que se le conoce por pegarle bien a la bola, ser bueno de tee a green, yo creo que este es un buen año, ¿no? Para estos grandes torneos.
Oye, todos los años PGA Championship es un poco cuando empieza la conversación de la Ryder, ¿no? No, cada 2 años. Y este año están aquí Harrington, están aquí los capitanes. ¿Cómo van los preparativos y qué nos puedes contar un poco?
No tengo ni idea. Es todo lo que te puedo decir. No tengo ni idea.
Sí. Otra cosa que, bueno, me preguntaban de Televisión Española, has comentado un poco sobre esto antes, sobre el tema de los Juegos Olímpicos, ¿no? Y con el calendario de este año, las condiciones van a estar complicadas. ¿Sigues ilusionado? ¿Sigues
Sí,
pensando?
sí,
que-
sí. A ver, lo que he dicho, ¿no?
Sí.
Y los que estén relacionados con el Comité Olímpico Español lo sabrán, hemos hablado con ellos. El hecho de que no nos dejan ir al hotel del campo, que está a 1 hora o más de la Villa Olímpica, hasta el miércoles, es lo difícil para nosotros, ¿no? Porque vamos a viajar desde Estados Unidos y otras partes del mundo. La semana siguiente es un campeonato del mundo. Y si tenemos que llegar allí el domingo o el lunes con el jet lag y tener que estar en autobús 1 hora, hora y media o más todos los días para ir al campo y volver, es complicado. El golf no es como otros deportes, que es siempre la misma cancha, digamos, ¿no? O sea, la pista de atletismo no cambia, hay ciertas cosas que no cambian y tenemos que estudiar el campo. Y si no vamos a poder ir a ver otros deportes, ¿quién más dará donde nos quedemos? Es la idea, ¿no? Si no hubiese ningún problema, llegamos el domingo o el lunes y podemos ir al hotel, perfecto. Pero el hecho de que no podemos ir hasta el domingo es lo que lo hace difícil. Ahora, yo quiero jugar.
Claro.
Y voy a jugar. Haré todo lo posible para jugar. No he podido representar a España a todos los niveles. He podido ganar medallas de oro mundiales, no olímpicas, representando a España. Y me encantaría poder darle una medalla de oro olímpica a España.
Ya. Bueno, te tengo que preguntar por qué, como siempre, para la familia, para los amigos. Y luego empezábamos a hablar de esto. Si te ayuda para el pad, te ayuda para el equilibrio. Lo que estás
No,
haciendo.
yo creo que te cansa un poco más los brazos, ¿no? Es un poco
Ya.
la apreciación que tienes, o sea, simplemente aguantar. No sé, hay algunas madres que les he visto aguantar el bebé cuando ya pesa bastante en brazos sin moverse, mogollón. Y yo hay días que al de 20 minutos digo, joder, tengo el brazo que se me va a caer. Es lo que me parece curioso, pero muy bien, ¿no? De momento súper divertido, pasándolo bien. Y lo más importante, ¿no? Yo creo que se menosprecia el hecho del el sentimiento de presencia que se tiene cuando tienes un hijo, ¿no? Es como que el resto del mundo da igual y ese momento que tienes es único, que 10 minutos pasan, os siento que pasan 10 minutos y han sido 3 horas, ¿no? Es algo único y ojalá siga así para siempre. Sé que no, pero ojalá siga así.
Oye, una pregunta de Morenilla del país, el tema de la tecnología esta semana, los rangefinders, y un poco, pues, si el tema de la tecnología al final está un poco quitando la esencia del golf. ¿Y qué
Totalmente.
es lo que opinas tú de esto?
En algunos puntos sí.
Sí.
¿Qué más dará el láser? Pues sí, ¿qué más dará? Si ya tenemos el libro, no va a acelerar nada, pero nada. O sea, si se creen que se va a jugar más rápido, no. Sobre todo porque hay cierta diferencia, ¿no? Aunque sea un par de metros, hay diferencia. Ahora, lo que sí me parece bien, sobre todo en un campo como este, es si te vas de lado y vas a las dunas, que no puedes ver muy bien, el poder usar el láser. Cuando tienes las mediciones en la calle, están tan lejos de ti, es difícil, pues, no sé, tienes que hacer trigonometría para acertar lo que tienes, ¿no? Y pues a muchos no nos da la cabeza para hacerlo. Y así que tener el láser sí te puede ayudar en ciertos momentos, pero siempre no creo que vaya a hacer mucho, ¿no? Ahora, ya he hablado de los libritos de los greens, para mí deberían irse y hay muchas cosas que quitan, digamos, la parte artística del golf. No creo que lo que la gente se está quejando ahora, que es la distancia, no creo que afecte nada. Hay que tener cierto arte para poder darle largo y recto y jugar a golf. Pero cuando hablamos alrededor de los greens y sobre todo en los greens, sí, me parece que se está quitando mucho la parte artística y se está mecanizando demasiado.
Ok, bueno, y la última, yo creo, al final se ha creado una expectativa contigo de todas las semanas vas a terminar entre los 10 primeros, ¿no? Entonces, quiero decir, ¿cómo te preparas y cuál es la evolución? Porque al final hay cosas que están funcionando y que te sirven para los grandes, ¿no? Entonces, ¿cómo ha sido la evolución en los últimos torneos y cómo va
A
esto hacia
ver,
los grandes?
es lo que dije. Después de Nueva Orleans, 8 días sin tocar un palo. Y luego fui a Quail Hollow, que es uno de los campos más difíciles que hay, y fallé el corte, no por mucho, pero bueno, o sea, porque el juego corto fue fatal. O sea, cuando no tocas un palo cierto tiempo, el juego corto es el que sufre, ¿no? Y se notó. La semana pasada fue un poco mejor, pero claro, cuando tienes un campo que hay que hacer -6 cada día, lo mismo, ¿no? El no estar tan rodado cuesta. Y bueno, al final lo importante era calentar para esta semana. Y pues sí, o sea, cada día me sentía mejor y jugando mejor, así que el objetivo es jugar bien esta semana. El objetivo es ganar siempre, pero si tengo que elegir, vamos a elegir esta.
Ok, muy bien.
One bonus question, John, coming from, it's going to be in Spanish from Doug.
No, I actually have. Oh, St. George's? Yeah, I have.
Cuando?
Not this year, not yet this year, but that was actually my first ever links golf experience.
What was the occasion?
The
Amateur?
British Boys.
British boys.
Well, I actually played at Royal. Is it
Sinkport.
Sinkports? Yeah, I played there. That was my first ever links experience, and that was a day before we were allowed to go practice at St. George's. I played with my dad, so that was, yeah. I played the British Boys, and I made it to. I think top 16. I made it to. That was my first ever sighting. I think I was 14.
Okay.
Great golf course.
You understood my question okay, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No. I had one more, though, in English. You talk about the importance of playing for the flag at the Olympics. How does that compare with playing for representing Spain at a Ryder Cup? How do you differentiate
It's very
between
similar.
the two?
It is very similar feeling, right? Playing for something more than yourself, it's always a great feeling. Like I said earlier, I mean, I've had the pleasure of being able to win gold medals in European championships and world championships for Spain as an amateur. And I would love nothing more than to be able to do it as a professional as well. Especially because up until 4 years ago, that wasn't an option. So to be called an Olympian, it's a very unique feeling. A very select group of people can say they've been Olympians throughout their life. And if you can get a medal, that would be amazing.
What kind of pressure would it be to win a medal compared with doing something individually?
Well, you still played individually, right? So I can't say it would be very different. Still the same game, still stroke play. It's not like it's a different format. But I can imagine the feeling afterwards, and I can only imagine it would be very different. That's where I think the difference would be.
Can you imagine what kind of pressure Sung J M would feel? That if he doesn't win a medal, he goes into the military?
Wait, seriously? Hold on, sorry, I'm laughing, but
No, I know.
is that serious? Like, that's not.
Yeah,
if he doesn't
the
win a medal,
Koreans
he has.
that's the one way to be exempt from mandatory military service is to win a medal at the Olympics.
Well, I would say that if we're fighting for fourth and third place, I'm open for bribing if he needs me to make a three-putt on the last hole. You know, we can always talk about it. I like Korean food. We can always talk about it, you know.
It's hard to fathom.
That is
isn't
very
it?
different,
Yeah.
right? Because he's going to be playing just to be able to have a chance to be just, you know, fulfilling his dream, which is play golf and then the PGA Tour. It's not easy to do it, especially coming from a different country. So I feel for him that those are the two choices, either win a medal or go military service. Because even if you end up on the nicest branch of the military, still in 1 or 2 years, but he can't play golf, that's a big setback. So again, I understand that's the rules, and he probably knew it coming into it, but he wouldn't be the first player to have to leave to go back to Korea to do it, right? So Simon Bay had to do it.
Yeah.
So
Donde es Sengmun?
I feel for him. Yeah, but Simon didn't have the chance to win an Olympic medal, did he?
No, they also had the Asian Games, but that was for amateurs.
Okay.
If you'd have won a gold medal as an Asian game, you could
I
have
think
been
they can
exempt.
include a PGA Tour event in that.
No, because when he was close at the Masters in November, they thought, oh, green jacket would get you out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They could include a PGA Tour event in that. It's not like it's easy to win a PGA Tour event, right? So,
Tell that to the Koreans. To the government. Tell that to the government.
oh no, well, I mean, this is not. They're probably not thinking about it the same way I am right now. But yeah, that's. I feel for him. I can't imagine what he's going through. You're gonna have to ask him because that's. I can't imagine. I mean, that's. Again, it will be a big setback for his golf career, but it is also part of being in that country, right? So he probably knew it ahead of time.
Gracias.
John, thank you and gracias for doing it twice, and we appreciate it. Have a great week, and we hope
Thank
to
you.
see you again soon.
Thank you very much.